thrice so that it could be understood. And when he went to any people, he would greet them thrice as well. And so, this hadith is referring to the practice of the Prophet ﷺ to repeat salam 3 times and to also repeat a message 3 times. And our scholars, they've given interpretations. One of the interpretations given is that if you give salam and the recipient has not heard you the first time, you repeat it a second time. And if they haven't heard you a second time, you repeat it a third time. And if they haven't heard you, then you just stop. And so that's part of it. The second that Imam Nawawi mentions also is that if it's a large group and you're greeting, different parties, or maybe some of the members didn't hear you, you greet 3 times at most. After 3 times, you stop. And so we know that 3 is the maximum, and there's a wisdom to that. That after 3, it's kind of a disturbance. Right, like we didn't hear you, okay, Assalamu alaikum, okay. Well, we didn't, you repeat it a second time. Third, if they don't respond to you after the 3rd time, and you keep saying that, when somebody wants to say something and they say it like 10 different times, it's annoying, right? Like, if I don't respond to you after the 3rd time, like, know that I don't want to respond to you, right? Know that I don't want to speak to you, or I'm occupied. My mind is somewhere else. So don't force me to talk when I maybe don't want to, or I'm maybe not available mentally to speak with you. And so the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ was that he would say 3 times. After 3 times, he would stop. And then the second hadith for the night is narrated by Miqdad رضي الله تعالى عنه. وعن المقداد في حديثه الطويل قال كنا نرفع للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم نصيبه من اللبن فيجيء من الليل فيسلم تسليما لا يوقظ نائما ويسمع اليقظان فجاء النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فسلم كما كان يسلم. Al-Miqdad, he narrates in a very long hadith. There's a whole story, but we're just going to take part of the hadith. He narrates that we used to take the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's share of milk to him. Milk was considered a luxury to have in the past, as food was difficult to acquire. And so whenever they acquired some milk, they would go give it to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a gift. And so this is part of respecting the Prophet alaihi salatu wasallam and providing for him before ourselves. And so they would go provide him his share of the milk. And then he said he would come and offer salam in a tone that would not awaken those who were asleep, but could be heard by those who were awake. So when the Prophet ﷺ would come and he would greet people, and their people were sleeping, it was night, he would still give salam. So that's the important thing. Just because people are sleeping and some people are awake, it doesn't mean like you don't give salam. Because the Muslim should start their conversation with another Muslim with salam. This is the command of the Quran, that we greet each other with salam, and the command of the Messenger ﷺ is that we start our conversation with salam. But let's say that a group of the people are sleeping. What do? You give salam still, but you say it quiet enough to be heard and not loud enough to wake up anyone sleeping. Right? So you have to be very considerate of people who are sleeping and be mindful and respectful of that. And so he said, then the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so he came and offered salam as was his norm. And so this to show that the Prophet's norm was that whenever he met a people, he started the conversation with Assalamu alaikum. And so this is a sunnah that oftentimes we kind of like minimize. Or like, I don't want to say salam every time. But this is really a sunnah that the Prophet ﷺ practiced and that we should practice. In the modern age, when we're texting, we abbreviate. We say the word salam without the full assalamu alaikum, which is not haram. These things are fine because the message is to give salam, right? And so these things are not prohibited. They're fine and fulfill the sunnah of giving salam. Inshallah, we'll conclude with that for the night and continue tomorrow night. وجزاكم الله خير وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه والحمد لله.